What is up, everybody? It is JT Sports. I am back to you guys with another video, and I'm here with my Arizona Cardinals 2021 record prediction. Going to be giving you guys my best case scenario, my worst case scenario, and my overall record prediction for the Cardinals this upcoming season. Before I get into it, make sure that if you haven't already, that you guys subscribe to the channel and turn on post notifications so you don't miss when I upload a new video, and help a brother out by hitting that like button. That like button is really important because when you hit that like button, you help me rank higher in the YouTube search algorithm. And if I rank higher in the YouTube search algorithm, I get more attention to the channel, more views, the channel grows, and you help me out. And everybody is always asking, JT, how can I help support the channel? Hitting that like button is the best way you can support the channel. One, it takes less than a second to do, and two, it's free. You don't have to pay for a YouTube membership, anything like that. So hit that like button, help support the channel, help a brother out, and on top of that, share the video on your social media pages with your friends, family, acquaintances if you are feeling generous and you really like the content that we're throwing out here. So you look at Arizona. Arizona is a really interesting team. I feel like this is a really hit or miss team this season because, yeah, you do have the talent. And you definitely are more than capable of being able to win this division. I don't feel like the gap between the Arizona, Seattle, the 49ers, and the Rams are all that big. I feel like the Rams are the most talented team in this division, but I don't think they're that far from Seattle or San Francisco. As a matter of fact, I think they're probably on the same level as those teams. But as we already know, that the NFC West is going to be an animal this year. This is the toughest division in the NFL. And Arizona finished in third place last season at 8-8. But that was with an injured San Francisco 49ers team. The 49ers are really healthy. So when it comes to trying to figure out how good Arizona is going to be this year, I really don't know. Like, I think they're in a similar situation like the Giants are with Daniel Jones. If Daniel Jones plays well, then they're going to be in the playoffs. If they don't get a good season out of Daniel Jones, they're not going to be all that great. I feel like the Arizona Cardinals are in a similar situation, but not with quarterback, but when it comes to their head coach, Cliff Kingsbury. Now, Cliff Kingsbury, I definitely feel like the hot seat is pretty hot for him because he has improved this team over the last couple of years since he took over. They have gotten better record-wise, but I think that this is the year that if you're a Cardinals fan, you're expecting this team to put it all together. And me, quite frankly, I'm not all that high on Cliff Kingsbury. There were times that people questioned his clock management, his play calling. So if the Cardinals don't make it to the playoffs this year, I think it's going to be because of Cliff. Because the talent definitely is there. So I think my best case scenario for Arizona is 10-7. Running back is a major area of concern. You lost Kenyon Drake, who is now a Las Vegas Raider. You got James Conner there. He's not bad. You got Edmonds. But, I mean, you don't really have a lot of talent there. And when you look at Kyler Murray was kind of leading the charge at a certain point in the season before he had that injury that kind of held him back during the latter half of the season. But he was kind of carrying the load, not just throwing the football, but running the football as well. So I think that it's really important if Arizona is going to have a shot at winning this division, which they do, they got to be balanced. You can't say, hey, we need Kyler Murray to just literally carry the whole entire offense. You're definitely going to have somebody in that running back room step up. Now, you look at wide receiver, you're stacked there. Okay, you got Hopkins. Hopkins was one of the 3 best wide receivers in the league last year. He was really good. You got a lot of talent in that wide receiver. Your offensive line has definitely improved. Now, defense, you bring in J.J. Watt. You got Chandler Jones coming back. You're definitely going to have one of the best 3 pass rushing duos in the NFL. And then on top of that, linebacker's rough. Now, you did bring in Zaven Collins, who I was really high on. But I don't really know what the Cardinals are going to do with him. Are they going to make him play inside linebacker? Or are they going to try to pull a move that they did with Hassan? Really try to make him play more outside on the edge? I don't really know. But I hope they do the right thing and keep him as an inside linebacker because I believe that's where he plays his best football at. Now, cornerback, I don't think is bad. Malcolm Butler's a little bit up there in age, but I think he's serviceable. Byron Murphy, he's pretty good. We already know how good their safety tandem is, so not really all that concerned about that. So my best case scenario, 10-7 for Arizona. I think if everything goes right, they should be able to win 10 games and find a way to get themselves into the playoffs with this record. But my worst case scenario, if everything goes wrong, I think they go 6-11. I definitely think that this team can take a step back. This team has gotten better over the last 2 seasons, but with how competitive this division is, if Cliff Kingsbury doesn't rise up to the occasion, this team is going to miss out on the playoffs, and I don't think they're going to be all that great. And like I said, how successful the Arizona Cardinals are going to be this year relies on the shoulders of how good of a job Cliff Kingsbury can do of coaching this team up. Now, I think that they definitely have a pretty, I wouldn't say it's all that tough. I think it's a pretty moderate schedule. You got some winnable games in here. I mean, you start the season off going on the road to face Tennessee. That's going to be a tough one. Minnesota can go either way. On the road against Jacksonville, week 3, you can win that game, but definitely don't sleep on the Jaguars. You got to face the Rams on the road. You got to face San Francisco. Then you got to face the Browns. That is a really tough 3-game slate. We already know how good Cleveland is. You got to face the Texans. Then you got to face the Packers on a short week. San Francisco again. Carolina. Seattle. You get a bye late in the year. Then you got to go on the road, face Chicago, a fringe playoff team, which is what Arizona is, which goes into my biggest swing games. My swing games are games that I feel are not must-win games, but these are season-defining games. When we look back at the Arizona Cardinals season at the end of this year, we can look back at these games and be like, you know what? If they would have beaten this team or they would have won this game, their season would have went completely different. Week 4 against the LA Rams is really big because this is a Rams team that is a premier Super Bowl contender. And I think that we can have a pretty easy read on how good this Arizona Cardinals team is going to be if they're able to beat the Rams. I think that would be a huge momentum boost, because you're going to be in the midst of a really tough 3-game slate. Because next you got to face San Francisco. Make sure that you guys check out my San Francisco 49ers record prediction. Link, well, the card will be popping up. Then you got to face the Cleveland Browns on the road. So I think that that's a really big game for the 49ers that, well, for the Cardinals, excuse me, because you want to start your season off with the win, but not only that, but you also, anytime you face a team in your division this early in the year, you want to start off with a division win, because those division wins are the difference between you missing the playoffs and making the playoffs. The teams that make it to the playoffs are able to win their division, so I think that that Week 4 matchup against the Rams is a really big game. Then Week 13 against Chicago Bears on the road in Chicago. It's going to be cold. You're going to have 2 teams who are fringe playoff teams who can either make it to the playoffs, they can get either 6 or 7 seed, or they can end up missing the playoffs on the outside looking in. So you look at the Bears and the Cardinals, I think these are 2 teams in similar situations who are going to be fighting to get one of those last remaining playoff spots in the last part of the season, which is a very important time of the year. So you look at the Bears and the Cardinals, 2 teams who can't be playoff teams, who could be on the outside looking in, are probably going to be scrapping it out for one of those last remaining playoff spots, which is why I think that is a really big game. And on top of that, you got to face the Rams again Monday night. You face the Lions. Then you got to close the season off with the Colts, Cowboys, and Seattle. So my overall record prediction for Arizona this year is going to be 7-10. I don't think Arizona is a bad team. I just think that Arizona is a good team in a really tough division. And I feel like Seattle, the Rams, and the 49ers are just a slightly above Arizona, not because they don't have the talent, but because Arizona has the worst coach in this division. And yes, you do have a great quarterback. I mean, you got the Rams and Seattle who also got good quarterbacks. And the 49ers, even though we know that Kyler Murray is better than Jimmy Garoppolo, Kyle Shanahan and that coaching staff elevates the players on that team. If you don't have a good coach, you're not going to win a lot of games. So I look at Arizona. I think that they end up going 7-10. If you were to take Arizona and put them in the AFC South, I think they win that division. You put them in the NFC East, I think they can win the NFC East. I don't think that Arizona is a bad team. I think this is a really good team. They're just a good team in a really tough division. So 7-10 is my final record prediction for the Arizona Cardinals. Let me know how good you guys feel the Arizona Cardinals are going to be this season. Leave your record prediction for the Cardinals down in the comment section down below. Also, make sure that you guys like the video, subscribe to the channel for more NFL videos and college football videos. And thanks for watching.